What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, we've got more Battle of Chaos reveals, including 2 cards, one of which is like a Chaos-type NEPHTHYS, and I guess by Chaos-type NEPHTHYS, I mean like literally Chaos NEPHTHYS, which is very, very cool. Also, we have a new card, part of that like weird little like level 5 warrior archetype that we got like, I don't know, 1 or 2 years ago. It was an interesting archetype. They have some cool extenders. This card's actually an interesting card for one particular deck, but we will get to that secondly. Firstly, though, let's get into this with the Chaos NEPHTHYS, starting off here with the boy. Dark Wing Beast, of course, special summon effect monster, level 8, 2416, the classic NEPHTHYS stat line. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by its own effect. You can only use the first effect once per turn. If this card is in your hand or graveyard and a card or cards on the field is destroyed by a card effect, you can banish 1 light and dark monster from your graveyard, except for Chaos NEPHTHYS, and special summon this card. And if this card is, and the second effect, if this card is special summoned, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and 2 cards in their graveyard, banish them. Pretty good card. Like, okay, here's what we love, right? Second effect, insanely powerful. A card on field and 2 cards on grave, does not distinguish monsters, spells, or traps. So even in like Eldritch matchups, you can just like clear like an Eldritch in grave or on field. And to maybe a trap that needs to trigger on the end phase, boom, gone. They don't get that resource either. That's actually pretty disgusting. So obviously that's like really powerful. Banishing is so strong. It always has been. First effect though, I don't think it's horrible. I think like the good part of the first effect is like, well, this is like almost Chaos standard, right? Like banish a light and a dark from grave. The problem is it's a trigger effect, not an ignition effect. So you can't just activate this whenever you want, extend it out whenever you want. You have to be able to destroy something on your side of the, or on either side of the field to then trigger this card. So something has to be destroyed. Also, it doesn't work by battle. It has to be by card effect as well. So just keep that in mind. I do like that it can work in grave as well. It's not just in hand, which is very nice. It means if you can just find a way to dump this and have a light and a dark in grave, if your opponent ever wants to destroy anything of yours by card effect, or you're playing a deck that destroys stuff by card effect, you will get a chance to trigger this guy, and this guy is a house. I mean, if you get him to summon on your opponent's turn, that may just be the end of the duel, especially if like it's after you popped something, right? So pop something, then summon this card, banish something on field and 2 cards in grave. A lot of decks in the meta right now could not even possibly attempt to recover from that. So very, very strong. I just think like this is tough, right? But it does present some problems. Like if this is set up and it's in grave, your opponent knows about it, they're kind of going to be sitting there like, wow, I really want to pop his monster, clear it off the field, but I can't. And obviously that goes deck to deck depending on the type of removal that deck has. If it's a deck that doesn't even use destruction, it's less good, but still, I do think there is like an alleyway for this that is not too shabby. So we will take it. This card is still pretty good, all things considered, I will say. Then we move to the other new card we have here. This is Kaiza, the Burial Star. Cool design, love his artwork. All of these guys like look pretty cool, to be honest. But of course, he is a level 5 Earth Warrior, 1000 attack, 2100 defense. You can special summon this card, special summon only once per turn using the way written in the first effect with this card's name. Jesus, make that any more wordy, Konami, please. You can use the second effect with this card's name only once per turn. Okay, cool. So just 2 hard ones per turns. First effect says, you can special summon this card from your hand by attributing a light or Earth Warrior monster, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to the attributed monster's original attack. Okay, so very simple. Tribute a Earth or Light Warrior on field, summon this guy, and he gains that monster's original attack. So this guy could actually become pretty big off of that, depending on what you're tributing. For sure, definitely. Pretty cool. Second effect, you can banish 1 warrior monster from your graveyard to send 1 light or Earth Warrior monster from your deck to the graveyard. That's also really good. If you're tributing a warrior to summon this guy in the first place, there's going to be a warrior in grave, so boom. That's pretty good. And then it lets you Foolish Burial any light or Earth Warrior. We also like that as well. So honestly, there's only 2 things that really come to mind with this card as far as like applications in certain decks. The first one is definitely being integrated into like this deck, right? The other level 5 monster system is a pretty good extender for them. considerably. So I think like that's cool. They actually have some decent boss monsters that like have negates and stuff. They're just like, they kind of take a good amount of material in their fusions, unfortunately. So a little bit tough, a little bit resource intensive to get out. So that's fine. But the other one is Gouki. This is really interesting to me for like a Gouki build. I mean, imagine going like tribute, like normal summon a Gouki. You may not have an extender. And then you have this guy. Well, I guess this card is the extender, but this is the only extender. Tribute the Gouki, right? Special summon this guy. The Gouki then gets you a search because it was sent from field to grave. That's what's so great about Goukis is they search just when they're generically sent from field to grave. They'll get you a search for another Gouki card. Then this guy can potentially banish that Gouki. That does get a little hairy because at one point you do want to be searching the Gouki rematch, which revives 2 of them. So you do need 2 engraved to activate that. So just be careful with that. But if you do, you can send a lighter Earth Warrior. So there's 2 things you could do here. Send another Gouki. So boom, that just replaces the Gouki you had engraved anyway. Or there's also one of the other cards, and I looked through this last night. Literally when I saw this card, I was like, it isn't worth its own video yet. Let me see if there's anything else that comes out before I make a video on it. But I did look up the entire list of Light Earth Warriors. And the main things I found is 1, you can send a Gouki. Great. Like, that's not bad. It's another Gouki name. If you can get it on field, it will have its search effect live, unlike the one that you already used prior in that little sequence. But the other thing is there's another one of these level 5 monsters that's pretty interesting because I believe he just says if he's in graveyard and you control a level 5 or higher warrior monster whose attack is not equal to its original attack or it's higher than its original attack, which, by the way, keep in mind this line of text I've highlighted here, once it summons, it gains the monster attributed's original attack. So as long as you attribute a 0 attack point monster, this will be live. It just summons itself, just reborns itself from the grave. So there you go. You'll have 2 warriors. You will have a Gouki search in hand, and then you make Ice Soul, and I think you're off to the races at that point, if I'm not crazy. Right? And because, well, yeah, I think it's pretty decent, to be honest. I don't know where the combo goes from there. Obviously, that's more like a Gouki specialist type thing. I've touched on Gouki a couple times. I think they're cool. I think they're a cool combo deck, but they do play a hefty amount of bricks generally. So it's like, it's cool, but it's kind of tough as well. But yeah, really interesting card. Those are the 2 main applications I see for it. But of course, guys, let me know, of course, for either the Chaos NEPHTHYS or the Kai's of the Burial Star, what other applications do you think there could be for either of these cards other than the stuff that I talked about here today? And that's going to end us off here. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I will keep you updated on all things new card releases and reveals, doing reviews on those and talking about everything there. But that's going to do it for me here. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you have not yet and you want to stay up to date on all those things. I will see you in the next one. Peace.